be quiet anymore. You know, I'm going to let people know, because the other side of this is I have a real close contact here in the U.S. that is very connected and on some of the boards at FIFA. This person told me that in October, every country was given $960,000 from FIFA to prepare for the World Cup. Where's that money? We got it. If Nigeria got it in October, why didn't we have a November? Why didn't we do a camp in November? You know, when we went to Japan in whatever that was, February, I think it was a February window, or maybe it was the October window. I can't remember. But when we went to Japan, I think it was in October.
Yeah.
We flew in and had a day rest, and then played the game, and then went home. Some of our players didn't arrive till the morning before the game.
Wow.
I think 5 players that were going to start for me arrived the night before the game, and the game was at 4 o'clock. Now, they traveled 16 hours on a plane.
Yeah, across the world.
And we played Japan, and then we go home. Like, we wasted the last 5 days of that window to train. So all these questions I have is, where's this money? You know, and then the other thing I found out from my FIFA connection is that if countries don't have the money to buy tickets, the business class tickets for everybody, FIFA would front that money and buy those tickets, and then just deduct it from the monies that you get from FIFA after the World Cup. So there's no excuse of saying, well, we didn't have money to buy tickets, so we couldn't have camp or whatever. So like, but these are things, when I go back earlier to what I was saying to you, these are the kinds of things that the people in Nigeria don't question. In the U.S., that would be questioned. If the U.S. were going through the same things we're going through, the U.S. Soccer Federation would have to answer and divulge the information going, wait, here's where the money was spent, here's why we don't have the money, or else you do have the money and you've got to take. But, I mean, where does $960,000 go? Why aren't we prepared properly? FIFA also allows your staff to be, your technical staff, they allow you to have up to 22 people. Well, we've only got about 11, right, on our staff. So if FIFA will pay bonuses for up to 22 people, why don't we have 22 people? Why don't I have an analyst? Why don't I have scouts? Listen, the U.S. right now has scouts in Europe now watching teams play these exhibitions just in case they face them at the World Cup. We don't even have scouts going with us to Australia. Like, I don't have anybody to scout games, you know, if we were to get out of our group. I don't have anybody to scout games in our group. Everything I have to do is just through videos, you know, through what I can pick up online. So it's like, to me, I look at it and go, well, if you're allowed 22, but you're only taking 11, I know Nigeria is going to want the bonus money that the staff gets. So are they going to list 10 other names to give them 22 so they get that bonus money? Or are they going to just go, no, our staff is only going to be these 11 and that's all, and not work? Like, I don't know that. I'm not accusing them of that. But in my mind, I'm thinking of it and going, why wouldn't you?
All glory to the higher power for putting breath in our lungs and voices in our throats. That sounded crazy, pause. But thank you very much for tuning in to episode 15 of the T&T Talk Sports Show. My name is Tunde Young. On the episode, I told you about me. He doesn't join us this week because he does whatever the fuck he wants to do at any given moment in time. But I still promise to give you a fantastic show, recapping the actions of last week and looking into the action of this week in the world of sports, but mostly football, because I'm a football and basketball guy. But I choose to leave the others to Tosin. We started the show with a clip of Randy Waldrum talking about his time as the Super Falcons coach. Former Super Falcons head coach, Randy Waldrum, the American, who I still think was not a very good coach, but he made certain valid points, towing the trend of the NFF's incompetence or poor handling of Nigerian football. We know that even as the Super Eagles are crown jewels in Nigerian football, the Super Falcons, the Super Eagles are not even handled with the utmost professionalism or care. Let alone now imagine how much worse the Super Falcons are being treated. And when the World asked an important question in that clip, where did $960,000 go? Because that's supposedly the money that we received from FIFA to prepare for the World Cup at that time. We talked about the fact that FIFA allowed up to 22 technical members of staff, and in his time as Super Eagles coach, he only had 11. We talked about the fact that they didn't have anybody to scout games officially, that he had to do that himself online and stuff like that. Those are not the kind of things that you want to be hearing about the senior national women's team of Nigeria, supposed giants of Africa. And it ties into what's going on right now. As we speak, there's an international window for women's football from November 24 to the 2nd of December. And Nigeria do not have any notable fixtures in that time. No officially announced fixtures for the Super Falcons this international window. Ghana, on the other hand, will be scheduled to face England on December 2nd. And at this rate, we don't know what is in it for the Super Falcons, because this next WAFCON 2026 doubles as the qualifiers for the 2027 Women's World Cup. And it doesn't look like we are prepared. It never looks like we're prepared, but this time around, it looks like we are even significantly less prepared than we usually are from the Super Falcons perspective. So it's sad, but at the end of the day, ultimately, it's where our football is, and that's why the campaign, not necessarily against NFF, but against the incompetent handling of Nigerian football, is very, very important. Channeled by guys like Mobike and the rest of everybody that's speaking out against the poor handling of Nigerian football. I'm not targeting anybody in person. I'm talking about just treat Nigerian football better, treat our athletes better, treat our national teams better, from the Super Falcons to the Flamingos to every single team on the women's side and the men's side. Treat our national teams better. Our football deserves absolutely better. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for the love that you've shown us over the past few weeks. Very much appreciated. The T&T Talk Sports Show now is 110 deep, baby. Woohoo! 16 weeks ago, 16 weeks is about, my math fails me. Okay, help me. 16 weeks is 4 weeks. It's 4 months, yeah? 16 weeks is 4 months, give and take. Please, I didn't pass JAMB at first attempt, so don't be angry. But in this journey, I'm very, very much appreciated for 110 organic subscribers, 110 dedicated people that listen and watch whenever we put out stuff. I'm very, very appreciative of you. And to celebrate reaching the 100 milestone, we told you that we're doing a jersey giveaway last week. And I have a winner for you. Drum roll, please. This is the time to tune in and hear your name properly. I'd like to appreciate this person. We did a draw and he won it, but me personally, I would still have found a way to reach out to you regardless, because this was the first commenter and the first participant in the draw, supposedly. Congratulations to the Adebola on YouTube, who commented VIP FC Barcelona. So I assume you want an FC Barcelona jersey. Congratulations, you are the winner of our 100 subscriber giveaway. So just text the T&T Talk Sports Show and do on Instagram. Text on Instagram with proof that you're subscribed to the channel and you're following the other social media platforms. So that's IG and TikTok. We are not on X for now because Elon Musk doesn't like us. And our community manager is not a good person. But yeah, text the official handle on IG with the information and the specific Barcelona jersey that you want. Maybe the home jersey from this season, the away jersey, maybe a retro jersey. Just let me know the jersey that you want and we'll figure it out. But hey, congratulations to at the Adebola Bar logo, it says here on YouTube, for winning our. Yeah. And let the people know that I don't know you personally. So in case people like are accusing me of fraud and cheating. But thank you very much to everybody that participated in the giveaway. 10 of you entered, and I'm really, really appreciative. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you. And I intend to give you a good show to reward you. Unfortunately, I do not have highlights of the weekend today. Instead, I have low lights because nothing good happened this weekend like that. I did not, nothing caught my eye in the world of sports this weekend. My low lights of the weekend, though, Rivers United, in the history of bottling, in the entire history of bottling, and let me tell you that I have experience with bottling. As a Nigerian, as someone that has watched Tottenham all my life, as someone that has watched Arsenal all my life, and I'm telling you now that I've never seen bottling like this before. Rivers United, in a already difficult group in the CAF Champions League, had already lost their first game away to Pyramids 3-0, as everybody thought that they were going to. And in this difficult group, the chances you have is to do well in your home games at least. They hosted RS Berkane. Granted, it was a game nobody gave them a chance to win before a ball was kicked. But as soon as a ball was kicked, 5 p.m. kickoff at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo on Friday, Rivers United led from the first half by a goal to nil, a Kamara own goal in the 37th minute. Led from the first half up until the 96th minute. They were still leading in Nigeria at home. RS Berkane equalized in the 97th minute through El Kabi. And in the midst of the confusion of that equalizer, as Rivers United were flustered, Rivers United goalkeeper Oniso Dumeya, I hope I did not ruin your name, basically threw the ball to the RS Berkane opponent, and they scored immediately. That's 2 goals in 30 seconds to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory for Finidi George Rivers United. How do you convince that man that it is not a spiritual case? I don't know. It is one of the biggest bottle jobs I've ever witnessed, and as such, RS Berkane are now top of Group A in the CAF Champions League with 6 points from 2 games. Pyramids are joint are second on goal difference, but also 6 points from 2 games. Rivers United are third, 0 points. Power Dynamos are fourth, 0 points. It could have been so much easier. The situation could look much better if Rivers United did not do what they did. So my commiserations with them. Speaking of commiserations, ladies and gentlemen, I know my own FPL captain. His name is Erling Haaland. He's been my FPL captain from the start of the season. In fact, he's been my FPL captain from the start of last season. I don't move that captaincy from him for no reason at all. He's my captain for life. But I have to say, I kind of regretted it this weekend. What do you mean Manchester City at home scored 3 goals and Haaland did not score assists? That's a low light of the weekend. That is a low light of the weekend. Haaland blanking for Manchester City and ruining my FPL weekend. 3-2 against Leeds United. Relegation-infested Leeds United. Struggling Leeds United. A lot of people triple captain Erling Haaland this weekend. Lots of people. Millions around the world. Because we thought this was the weekend. We thought this is we banged 3 goals minimum. My FPL captain did absolutely nothing. He gave me 2 points. Doesn't bring me any joy to say this, but I scored 39 points in FPL. Like, not from one day, like in total. Granted, there are a lot of you that struggle just like me because the average for the week was 35 points. Well, I got 4 points from Haaland. You would not believe it. Thiago saved me with 13 points. Mateta had 6 points. Those are my best scorers. Saka with 5. I left Dango Ouattara on the bench with 12 points. So I can see why this is part of my low light of the weekend. Let me know how your FPL weekend went in the comments. But let's move away from fantasy Premier League to the real Premier League, real life. Didn't I tell you? No, somebody refresh my memory, or let me refresh yours. Did I or did I not tell you that ideally Chelsea will go into what is on paper the toughest run of games in recent history for Chelsea Football Club? At home to Barcelona on November 25th. At home to Arsenal on November 30th. And I told you, verbatim, I foresaw, I predicted, I premonited, if that's even a word. I told you, guaranteed, that Chelsea would not lose one out of those games. You people said I was crazy. He said it's Tunde, he's a Chelsea fan. That's how he does. Chelsea will lose both games, a lot of you said. Chelsea will win one and will draw one and lose one, a lot of you said. The most generous Chelsea fan even said we will win one and lose one. Well, we beat Barcelona like thieves. That was no longer news. On Tuesday, we showed those Pampe debtors that the levels are not the same. Esteval shown on the big stage. You've already seen my video about that. Thank you for making that semi-viral. You know my thoughts on that already. And my confidence was born out of the fact that there is a way Enzo Maresca approaches big games that makes him infallible. Even if Chelsea don't end up winning, because we've seen their approach fail to work this season against Bayern Munich, for example, we did not win that game. But it was a close shave. Even in that regard, when we didn't win the game, it was a case of individual errors leading to 2 of the goals, and things just didn't fall in our favor. But the way it sets up the teams for big games puts the team with the best possible chance of coming out with a win. We've seen it work quite a number of times now, and we saw it again against Arsenal. The Arsenal game went about as well as you could have expected. If you play well over 60 minutes an hour of football against Arsenal, who have been very complimentary to have already called Arsenal the best team in England and the world by extension this season. So if you play 60 minutes plus of football against this team while playing a man light, and you still did not look worse for wear, I think that is a win, even though technically it was a draw. But I would take that. Now, it does hurt me. It does make me feel bad that Chelsea still remain without a win at home to Arsenal since 2018. The last time Chelsea won at home to Arsenal, Marcos Alonso scored the winning goal. A late winner. Alex Iwobi scored for Arsenal in that game. He still played for Arsenal at the time. That's how long ago it was. You remember what was happening in 2018. In 2018, Nigeria was a much better place, even though we were still complaining then. In 2018, was Barack Obama not still president? Barack Obama was president. Oh, he wasn't? Barack Obama was, okay, his presidency ended in 2016. Thanks to our resident field lawyer for letting me know that. But apologies for insulting you. But you deserve it. Back to the point I was making. Chelsea have not had success at home to Arsenal or anywhere against Arsenal, to be fair, because even the last win Chelsea won against Arsenal was in 2021 and that at the Emirates. So maybe we'll see them again in the second leg. I'll be able to correct that. But I'm happy that they went through this game with, first of all, lots of confidence. The approach was clear. Get physical with them, make them uncomfortable, disrupt their flow. Arsenal are a very physical team. Gone are the days where Arsenal were snowflakes, the guys where you just kick them. They had so many soft players, Fabregas, they didn't play together. I'm just mentioning examples. They had so many, Giroud, those are the kind of Arsenal players. Gone are those days. This is a team of men. This is a team of hard men. Pause. This is a team of strong, tough tackling people. Okay, it's not making me laugh. This is a team of strong tackling people. So Maresca knew that he needed to set a tone. He needed to come in with a lot of physicality from the start. And the Caicedo red card was born out of that. I've made my opinion about the Caicedo red card clear. A lot of you disagree, fine. Respect to the lot of you that disagree, with sense, which is counter with your football opinion. And the rest of you that disagree without sense, go and it's your father's at home that I'm referring to, I don't care. But I will retort. And after having conversation with a couple people, I have to say that let me retract a part of that statement. I said I didn't think it was a red card. Okay, no. I see why a red card was given. My new response on that is, I do not think he should have given a red card for that in the context of that game. Again, what I said initially was, I think that tackle can either be a red card or not. Neither way is it a robbery. As a red card, it wasn't a robbery. I would have preferred he didn't give a red card, but I'm not saying that Chelsea were robbed. And if he didn't give a red card, I don't think Arsenal would have a right to say they were robbed either. Because in my opinion, that tackle is entirely subjective. In that regard, the thing that I know that to be a guaranteed red card in that regard is if Caicedo stepped on his shin. Stepping above the ankle, guaranteed red card. Stepping on the ankle and below, especially when the ball was in play. He was going for the ball. Granted, he audibly missed the ball because Merino kicked the ball away before he got there. Merino was faster than him, but you can't say that he left the ball and tried to kick Merino. He tried to go for the ball. He just missed it by quite a distance. So that's the point I'm making. I still understand why Anthony Taylor gave the red card, but I'm saying that in that situation, there's a reason we use human beings and not AI. There's a reason we use human beings and not robots. There's a reason that you need human beings on the pitch. It's because of discretion. The rules are never black and white. Yes, it was a dangerous tackle, but was that his intent? Another thing from discussing with people that I'm learning is that a lot of people say he deserves it because it was an accumulation of. If that's your argument, then I understand it. Because Caicedo did make a lot of fouls leading up to that moment. So if that's your argument, is that he has been doing this throughout the entire game, that I still sort of understand. But me, I'm isolating this one incident. I've seen that tackle a lot. That's the point I'm making. I saw that tackle from Bentancur against Chelsea. I've seen that tackle a lot in football because players often try to go to win the ball by stamping on it or getting a foot from it from a higher vantage point. And when you miss the ball, you automatically stamp on the player's leg. The action is already in motion. You cannot tell someone that is already in motion that, that player has kicked the ball, so remove your leg. The action, because this has happened in split seconds. So it is never as. So when you go back and watch it on VAR, where they play it in slow motion, it looks much worse than it is. It's never as. That particular type of tackle is hardly ever as bad as it looks. So, in my opinion, in the context of that game, I don't think that he should have punished him with a red card. But he did, and a lot of you agree with him, which is fine. But let's keep our conversations civil. I also did speak about the fact that I like the fact that Enzo Maresca did not react rashly to that red card, because we saw what he did against Manchester United when Chelsea got a very early red card against United. Robert Sanchez got sent off very early. Maresca panicked, took out all the attackers, brought in all defenders, and a new goalkeeper, obviously. And in my opinion, that cost Chelsea the game because United were still there for the taking, even with 10 men. This time around, when you lose Caicedo in midfield, I thought he was going to take out one of the attackers and bring in an extra midfielder, maybe Andre Santos, to shore things up and maintain that 3-man midfield while leaving 2 players up front, maybe Pedro Neto and João Pedro to just run at it. But he didn't panic. He just said, Reece James and Enzo Fernandez look like they can hold their own against this Arsenal midfield. And they did. They absolutely did. So congratulations to those guys. Reece James was immense. And I like the fact that Enzo Maresca did not overreact. Even when he made subs, it was like for like. He took off Estevao, brought in Garnacho, took off João Pedro, brought in Delap, even though we didn't really see much from any of those guys, because by then Chelsea were already a man light. But never at any point in the game did it look like Arsenal dominated Chelsea, which is a good thing, because this Arsenal team is a very good team. Another thing I want to address about this game, those of you that somehow have the misconstrued notion that game settled the Caicedo versus Declan Rice debate. You are a joker. First things first, I did not believe in the debate anyway, because these are 2 different types of midfielders. Even though they technically play the same position, but they are 2 profiles. So the comparison was never fair. One is better at one thing than the other. The other is better than another thing than the other. Stated. But if I want to go by your premise and use this game as a measure of anything, in a game where Caicedo got sent off in the 38 minutes, he is still a bigger talking point than Declan Rice. Does that not say something? Declan Rice playing in a 3-man midfield could not dominate a 2-man midfield of Reece James, who is not even a midfielder, and Enzo Fernandez. No shade on Rice or whatever. I'm going by the premise of we are having this conversation right now. We are having this argument right now. You guys want to do this? Let us do this. Did Declan Rice cover himself in glory? So is it that Caicedo gets a red card means that now the debate has been settled? Does that mean that Rice is not better because he did not get a red card? Because it's not like he did anything specifically in that game to assert his own dominance and say, oh yeah, I'm the better of the players on the pitch right now. At no point in that game did I watch I feel like Declan Rice was bossing the midfield. If anything, the player that stood out in midfield was Reece James. Absolutely phenomenal performance. Incredible performance from the Chelsea captain. Superb footballer, Reece James. His quality was always obvious to anyone that knows what RJ does and what he brings to the team. He's a phenomenal footballer. He held his own in that midfield and did it while also having to drift wide a lot of the time. Because of Chelsea's numerical disadvantage, but he still very much held his own. Pulling up his stats right now from that game, he had 1 assist, he had 1 big chance created, 2 key passes played. He completed 3 out of his 4 attempted crosses. He had an 81% pass accuracy, 25 out of 31 completed. Passes in opposition half, he completed 10 out of 16 attempts, 63%. Passes in his own half, he had 14 out of 15, 93%, damn near accurate. Long balls, he completed 2 out of 3. So damn near accurate the entire night, and man of the match performance from the Chelsea captain. Declan Rice, on the other hand, was not bad, but it was not good either. He just had a mere performance. So that's why I'm saying that this is not the game to use to flex your Declan Rice over Caicedo arguments. So those are my thoughts on Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. I will look at what both teams have to expect in the midweek. But let's talk about United and Liverpool. Back to winning ways. Manchester United bounced back from defeat against Everton 1-0 at last weekend or last Monday. And this time around, they went away at Crystal Palace, a ground that I did not give them a single chance. I have to be honest, I did not give them a single chance to pick up even a draw in this game. I thought for sure United were losing at Selhurst Park, because United last won at Selhurst Park 5 years ago until this Sunday. Might I say? So 2020 was the last time United won at Selhurst Park before today. Before last Sunday. Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial were the goal scorers on that occasion. The subsequent games at Selhurst Park ended goalless. 1-0 in favor of Crystal Palace, 1-1, 4-0 in favor of Crystal Palace, goalless again last season, and now 2-1 Manchester United winning away at Crystal Palace to shoot up to 7th on the Premier League table. Speaking of shooting up, now they are conjoined twins. Both of them have moved up the table. Liverpool as well moved up to 8th, tied on 21 points with Manchester United after winning away at West Ham United. 2-0 Alexander Isak with his first Premier League goal for Liverpool. Yeah, I think so. First Premier League goal for Liverpool. The only other goal was, I think, against Southampton in the EFL Cup. And then Cody Gakpo sealing the results. At least Arne Slot can breathe a little bit, but maybe we can rest with the should Arne Slot be fired questions that we have been asking pretty much every episode of the pod recently. But my question now is, does this result against West Ham excuse the last 3 results? If you don't know what the last 3 results are, if you've been under any sort of rock, don't worry, I'm here to help you with some information. Liverpool lost at home to PSV in their last game, 4-1. Liverpool lost at home to Nottingham Forest in the game before the PSV won, 3-0. Then Liverpool lost away to Manchester City, 3-0 in the game. For those are their last 3 results. 10 goals conceded, 1 goal scored, 3 losses. 10 goals conceded in 3 games. Does this West Ham result serve as any form of respite? Does it make it feel better? I would love to hear from any Liverpool fans that have thoughts on this. I do not know. I do not think so. I think if you were slot out before the West Ham game, I don't think that you should now all of a sudden be slot in. That sounds crazy. I don't think that you should now all of a sudden be slot in for this after just 1 result. But I guess we will see how he can hold his own at the midweek fixtures. We'll get to all of that. But let me just run through some of the other results, including the very interesting title races in the other league. In England, the title race doesn't look quite as tantalizing. I've been very, very vocal about the fact that I think that Arsenal are going to be champions of the Premier League this season. And I think they're even going to do it rather easily. You see how Liverpool did it last year, that there was not really much of a challenge. I think that it's going to be the same for Arsenal this year. Right now, they are 5 points atop the league. They've only lost 1 game the entire season. They've conceded 7 goals after 13 games. So as it stands, Arsenal have 25 games to the end of the season, and if the intention is to break Chelsea or equal Chelsea's amazing record of 15 goals considered in the 38th Premier League game season, then that means Arsenal can only concede 7 more goals in the subsequent 25 games. You see what I meant when I said this was the toughest record in Premier League history and it will never be broken. But thankfully for them, they don't have to break that record to win the Premier League. Right now, 5 points ahead of Manchester City, 6 points ahead of both Chelsea and Aston Villa. I think they will have this trophy wrapped up by February. February max, I think Arsenal, if not mathematically, will be logically champions in waiting. So let's move on to, in my opinion, one of the best title races right now. Serie A. Before the ball was kicked this weekend, Roma were atop the Serie A table. And then we had the top of the table clash between Roma and Napoli at the Stadio Olimpico. Napoli emerged winners to now climb up to second on the table, tied on points with AC Milan, Massimiliano Allegri, back with the Rossoneri and looking to win them the title. Both teams are 28 points. Inter are third with 27 points. Roma are now fourth from top of the table to fourth, but also with 27 points. In fact, only 4 points separate first and sixth. Como are sixth with 4 points. Juventus are seventh with 23 points. So Juventus are 5 points off the top place AC Milan. So that's a very, very interesting title race. Inter Milan won 2-0 away at Pisa on Sunday, thanks to goals from Lautaro Martinez to help them move up to second on the table. The Roma-Napoli game at the Olimpico was decided early on. David Neres in the 36 minutes scored the only goal of the game. I'll get to Ademola Lookman and scoring in back-to-back games for Atalanta. I'll get to that as the show progresses. But the Serie A table makes for interesting reading. Who do we think is going to be champion of the Serie A this season? The last 4 Serie A seasons have had 4 different champions. No, not 4 different champions. I beg your pardon. But the last 4 seasons have had 3 different champions. Napoli, Inter Milan, and AC Milan have won the league in the last 4 or 5 years. If you want to extend it to 6 years, you have Juventus. So the last 6 years, there have been 4 different Italian league champions. It's looking like it's going to be one of those 4 teams, except Roma can sneak somewhere in there and win their first Serie A championship since the 2000-2001 season. So can it be done? Gianpiero Gasperini has been doing an incredible job in charge of the Giallorossi, coming in his first season, and he has them competing at the very top of the table. Can they sustain? Do they have the stamina to sustain that persistence the entire season? We've only played 13 games, 25 more to go. Speaking of title races, I really like the one that is brewing in La Liga as well. The last time we had a non-duopoly champion, that's the Real Madrid or Barcelona. The last time we had a non-Real Madrid or Barcelona champion in La Liga was in the 2020-2021 season. Atletico Madrid were champions. Then the last 4 seasons have been equally split between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Barcelona. Is this the year that duopoly is broken again? In fact, the last team, not Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Atletico, to win La Liga was Valencia in the 2003-2004 season. So maybe it's time to have a new champion. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you that I'm introducing my own personal champion that I was vocal about from the start of the season, even though I didn't think they would win the league. But right now, who's to say they can't? Villarreal. I like what Marcelino is doing with Villarreal. They recruited quite well, brought in quality like Thomas Partey, even though he's not been able to get into the team. They brought in Bernardo Vega from my club Chelsea. I like the look of this team. It's a perfect blend of youth and experience. You have Jose Perez up front, Giorgio Mikutadze, Gerard Moreno is no longer even a regular. Partey is not a regular. You have these kind of players who can make impact on the bench. Marcelino insists on playing Tajon Buchanan and good player. You have Nicolas Pepe. You have quality all around. I think that they can hold their own. After 14 games played, Villarreal are third on the table with 32 points. 1 point behind Real Madrid and 2 points behind Barcelona, who are now top of the table. As it stands, Barcelona look like they're in pole position to win another La Liga title. Can they defend their crown, especially with the kind of football that they're playing this season? I do not know. But Real Madrid do not look like they're in title winning shape at the moment. 3 consecutive draws in the league so far. Against Girona, the most recent one. 1-1, that game ended away on Sunday after drawing 2-2 against Elche and goalless against Rayo Vallecano to drop 6 points in their last 3 games. So not the best of run of games for Xabi Alonso. Even the one game that they've won in their last, I think, 5 was against Olympiacos, and even that they almost choked it away. They ended up winning by 4-3. So, from Real Madrid's perspective, not a fun time at this moment in time. Very obvious over reliance on Kylian Mbappe. So, which begs the question: if Mbappe has not scored 22 goals by the start of December, then where would Real Madrid be right now? I wish there were any Real Madrid fans around me to answer this question. Well, I think that the struggles are to be expected. At the end of the day, no matter how brilliant of a manager is, Xabi Alonso is in his first season, and he's a manager that likes to do things a certain way. Granted, those type of managers do not really succeed at clubs like Real Madrid and I like clubs like Real Madrid because at the end of the day, no matter how good your philosophy is, no matter how well you play your football, no matter what you think football should be played like, the single most important thing at Real Madrid, to both the president of the club and the fans of the club, is to win games. Play well, don't play well, be entertaining, be boring. It ultimately doesn't matter. Win games first. It's after you win, which is what we saw with Ancelotti. After you win, when you have won enough, they can now start nitpicking. And say, oh, this man is not using this squad to the best of his abilities, or the players are underperforming their blah, 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 blah. But the priority is always to win first. You win first. We go to sort out the rest. That's the philosophy at Real Madrid. So from Alonso's perspective, there's been an over-insistence on his philosophies, which I understand, because again, to really stamp a philosophy on a team, you have to stick to it. You cannot give in and scrap your philosophy at the first few hurdles you face. If not, then you don't really have a philosophy. You have to be able to live and die by what you believe football is. You have to be able to live and die by the way you know in your heart that the beautiful game should be played. So I think that's the dilemma that they are stuck in. They have to find a way to get out of the rut. Because even with Mbappe pretty much scoring every game at this moment in time and having one of the best seasons of his career so far, Real Madrid are still struggling both in the league and in the Champions League, which is a serious cause for concern. We'll get to their midweek fixtures as well. But right now, let me go to my least favorite part of the show, which is the coupon busters. Who spoiled your ticket this week? This is a safe space. Hold my hand, look into my eyes, and tell me why you carried Real Madrid straight with away at Girona. 1-1 it ended. I already mentioned that. But the one that perhaps surprised me the most. Tell me how. Tell me why. Tell me how Monaco, while being a man down, beats PSG in a football game. Monaco, who have been on a horrendous run of form before this game. Granted, this is supposed to be like big game in French football. Yada, all that jazz. I do not care at all. Monaco were winless in their previous 3 games. Who were the previous 3 games? They lost 4-1 at home to RC Lens. They lost 4-1 away to Stade Rennais. Then they played 2-2 away in Cyprus to Paphos. That is not the team you would expect to beat PSG, who had won their last 3 games coming into this. Not only did they beat PSG, just to let you know that it is your village people that did this one. Don't even think that your uncle that have been suspected is him. is the one that did this one. There's nothing you want to say about it. Not only did they beat PSG, they had Thilokera sent off in the 80th minute. It did not mean anything. PSG could not find the back of the net. PSG failed to score a single goal in a football game for the first time since September. And even that one that happened in September, it was against Marseille. They lost the game by a goal to nil. We had Marseille. But you know that only happened because it was on the same night as the Ballon d'Or ceremony. So lots of PSG's key players were at the Ballon d'Or ceremony instead of at the game away at Marseille. So you would expect that they would have lost that one. That was the only game in which they've failed to score a goal this season, up until last Saturday. So every single thing you could have bet on in that game. PSG straight win, 2 up. PSG straight win, 1 up. PSG win or draw, mba. PSG score 1 goal, PSG score 2 goals, I take it off PSG. Oh yeah, the full game, both teams over 1.5, 0. Both teams over 2.5, 0. Over 0.5 in both halves. Like, just give me 1 goal in each half. Nothing. So what can you stake on in this game as a football investor? I'm sure that if you escape every other thing, you could not escape this PSG versus Monaco. Also on Saturday, Marseille could not beat Toulouse at home for whatever reason. So if you are a Marseille straight win better, even though Marseille were pretty much in the title race, pretty much like top of the table, second top of the table before this match week, they ended up drawing at home 2-2 to Toulouse, and it was even a late equalizer, 92nd minute. Hidalgo with the goal for Toulouse to make it 2-2. So that game where you feel that mentally counts. Say, this one don't enter now. Marseille have done it again, right? Marseille who won 3 consecutive games before this Toulouse game, and Toulouse on the other hand have not won any of their last 6 games. See, betting is one of the hardest things in you can lay your hands on. But I will always say, don't give up and always rebet. Not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. Let's move on from Ticket Busters, which is, again, like I said, my least favorite segment on the show because it brings back a lot of PTSD and terrible memories. Other notable results on the weekend, yada 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 yada. At this point, I don't care, so I'm not doing it. Let us talk about the action in the midweek. There's no Champions League this midweek. League football continuing on in the midweek. So from Tuesday, start setting your FPL because there are 3 games on Tuesday. Bournemouth at home to Everton in Premier League. Fulham at home to Manchester City. And Newcastle at home to Tottenham Hotspur. If I cannot predict anything again in this life, let me use my last strength to predict this one to you now. There is a less than 0% chance of Tottenham Hotspur with their 2 left legs going to St. James's Park and picking up a win. It's not going to happen. I'm guaranteeing it. Guaranteed. Tottenham have lost the last 3 games on the bounce. Lost away to Arsenal 4-1. Lost away to PSG 5-3. Lost at home to Fulham 2-1. If you had the Manchester United game that ended 2-2, Tottenham are winless in their last 4 games. Tottenham have only won 1 game in their last 7 attempts. That was against Copenhagen, 4-0 in the Champions League. This is not a team that can go away to St. James's Park and pick up a result. St. James's Park, where Newcastle have won 6 games on the bounce. Not only have they won 6 games on the bounce, they've even only considered 2 goals in that run. 1 goal against Manchester City, 1 goal against Fulham, and they even won both games. In fact, if not for that loss against Arsenal, Newcastle would have won 8 straight games at St. James's Park. So this is not the game where you ask Tottenham Hotspur to do anything. And even if they don't beat Tottenham this season already, they beat Tottenham at St. James's Park, like I mentioned, 2-0 in the cup, in the EFL Cup. I'm trying to check the last time Tottenham won away at Newcastle. It was in the year of our Lord 2021, ladies and gentlemen. 3-2. Make I tell you who score for Tottenham so that you know that it's not Shere. Ndombele of blessed memory scored for Tottenham in that game against Newcastle. That's to let you know that there is no chance. And I know the way football works. Tottenham will come win 6-0 just to prove me wrong. But yeah, those are the games on Tuesday in the Premier League. On Wednesday in the Premier League, Arsenal at home to Brentford. I think that Arsenal will get back to winning ways after that minor blip against Chelsea. This Arsenal team is very, very good at football. And let me address Arsenal fans a little bit, now that I'm on my platform where it's safe. What is the issue with Arsenal fans? Why do you feel the unending desire? Your heart is like a black hole of seeking approval. You could say a million positive things about Arsenal and say one negative but factual thing. And the people that support this club will leave every other thing you said and hound on that one thing that they do not perceive to be positive and then somehow claim victim from it. You need to break out. That is not the mentality of champions. I know a lot of you have not lived long enough to see your team lift the Premier League. It's fine. Unfortunately for you, I did. Your last Premier League, me, I saw it because I even just started watching football at the time. I saw it, the Invincible. I watched the Invincibles. A lot of you are young and did not see it. I understand that. So all you've ever known in your journey as an Arsenal fan is bitching, moaning, crying, weakness. And at this point that you are now a strong team that are supposed to be talking from the position of strength, all you can do when you open your mouth is to whine and cry. At some point, things don't just have to change on the pitch, which they have. Arsenal on the pitch have become a formidable football club. As a fan base, you also have to carry yourselves that way. So that people, that's the way to rebrand your club. That's the way to rebrand your identity. So that people can start viewing you that way. As a fan base that is used to winning. As a fan base that has been here before. As a fan base that can separate trolling from matter that deserves attention. I made a video earlier this year and talked about the fact that even though Arsenal are going to win the league, I don't think that they can break Chelsea's 15-goal considered a season record. That is a fair assessment. Guess what? Arsenal fans took it as hatred because that's what you do. You got to switch up. Let's talk about the game against Brentford. I think Arsenal are going to win against Brentford. Brentford have been much better than I thought they were going to be. I actually had Brentford getting relegated at the start of the season because they lost Thomas Frank, the coach, lost Brian Mbeumo, lost Johan Wissa, lost Christian Norgard. When you lose that many important players, including your captain, and then you lose your head coach as well, I thought they were going to struggle. But they've really proven me and a lot of other people wrong. At this moment in time, they are 10th on the Premier League table, just 2 points behind Manchester United and Liverpool. So they are having a time in the Premier League right about now. And I do remember them getting the scalp of Arsenal at the Emirates in 2022, so maybe they can run that back. In fact, they've had a run of decent results at the Emirates. Arsenal have only won 2 of their last 5 home games against Brentford. So that's something to keep in mind. One of the last 4 home games against Brentford. So that's something to keep in mind. But I still think that Arsenal will win this time around. Brighton, Aston Villa, Burnley will take on Crystal Palace, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Nottingham Forest. Speaking of Crystal Palace and Wolves, let me talk about the Nigerians there real quick. The situation is looking dire. At the start of the season or during the transfer window, when Tolu Arokodare, the original T, moved to Wolverhampton Wanderers, we all celebrated it because Nigeria is moving up in the world, moving from Genk, KRC Genk in Belgium to Wolverhampton Wanderers in the English Premier League. Right now, Wolves are dead bottom of the Premier League table. Tolu can't get a game because Jürgen Strand Larsen is the starting striker for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it's not looking good at all. In fact, there are shades of Paul Onuachu's move to Southampton. Shortly after I made that move, Southampton got relegated. He didn't even really play much in the entire season. And then you look across to Crystal Palace as well in South London. And even though Crystal Palace are doing much better than Wolves, Christatos Uche is doing much worse than Tolu Arokodare. At least Tolu is getting some games off the bench. He's starting some cup games. Christatos Uche is not even seeing minutes. And it's worrying. These are supposed to be our rising talents in the Super Eagles. Uche was a dead-on regular for Getafe before he moved to Crystal Palace. And now, not only does the coach not see him as a striker, he says even if you want to be a striker, you will be behind Nketiah and Mateta. So as a striker, it's the third choice. As a midfielder, it's like the fourth or fifth choice. It's not looking very good from Uche's perspective. What do you guys think is the solution? It's looking like Uche might, because his loan is moved to Crystal Palace from Getafe. It's actually a loan deal that is made permanent after he makes a certain amount of appearances. So maybe that's also what Crystal Palace are wary about. Maybe that's why Oliver Glasner has not given him that many minutes, because maybe he's not sure he wants him in the team permanently, and he's putting him on an appearance restriction so that they don't accidentally trigger the clause that makes the move permanent. But it's worrying from a Nigerian perspective, especially with the AFCON so close. AFCON kicks off December 20th. Nigeria's first game against Tanzania was on December 23rd in Fez, Morocco. So if these guys are not playing, are these the people that want to relieve Osimhen, especially with Osimhen injured at the moment and very even doubtful to start the first AFCON game? We'll see. Leeds United host Chelsea. Elland Road is not a... Leeds United they've lost their last 4 games. Manchester City, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, Brighton. It's all ended in defeat. Their last win against West Ham on the 24th of October is their only win in their last 7 games. They don't even draw. They either win or lose. So from Chelsea's perspective, this seems like it should be a guaranteed win. But again, away at Elland Road, not always the easiest. So we'll see about that. But I still expect Chelsea to pick up all 3 points. I would expect Enzo Maresca to rotate the squad quite a bit, because these are the same core of players that have played very, physically tasking games against Barcelona and Arsenal. Maybe the Barcelona was not even that physically tasking, but this was not good. But the Arsenal game was very physically demanding. So I would expect the likes of Andre Santos that did not start either of those games to come into midfield today on Wednesday against Leeds United. Moises Caicedo is suspended for this game, so that's always going to be. That was a piece of rotation that was going to happen anyway. But I expect rotation in other aspects of the team. Liverpool at home to Sunderland will test and it's Slot's resurgence and see if it is. We'll put it under the light. We'll test his chain and see if it's original or fake. At home to Sunderland is a difficult fixture. Sunderland have already won away at Chelsea this season. Sunderland are a pretty good football team. I think we've established that they are the best of the newly promoted teams so far. And even though their away results have been a bit spotty, they lost away to Sunderland, to Fulham last time out, but beat Chelsea in the game before that. Then lost away to Manchester United, but beat Nottingham Forest before that. So it's been a big year. They've lost 3 of their 6 away games so far. 2 away wins and 1 draw. It's not bad in your return to the Premier League. So I think Liverpool are going to have a tough time on their hands at home to Sunderland. But if they can figure it out, maybe this will lead to. Maybe this will be the start to the resurgence for Arne Slot, because the next few fixtures are actually looking not bad. At home to Sunderland, away to Leeds United after beating West Ham. You can really build some momentum there. If you win those 2 games, all of a sudden you go into the Inter game away. Inter away, you go into that off the back of 3 consecutive wins. And even if somehow you don't beat Inter, back in the league, you host Brighton, you go away at Tottenham, you host Wolves, you host Leeds United again, you go away to Fulham. Those are all like winnable games in coming back to back. So this might be Liverpool's opportunity to finally get back on the right track. On Wednesday in La Liga, we'll see Athletic Club Bilbao host Real Madrid. I'm calling it right now. Another match where Real Madrid drops points. There's no chance they win away at Bilbao. I'm calling it right now. Just as I called it against Girona and you did not listen. I'm calling it right now. Real Madrid have only won once in their last 5 away games. 3 draws, 1 defeat. And they've only won They've only won 2 of their last 4 visits to San Mamés, with Athletic Bilbao winning 2 as well. So I think that is a game that is more likely to end in a draw, but we'll see how that goes. On Tuesday, Barcelona Atletico Madrid, the match of the midweek, is a top of the table clash, if you think about it. Barcelona are first with 34 points from 14 games. Atletico Madrid are fourth with 31 points from 14 games. Barcelona have a very good run of results at home, even though they've played multiple home grounds this season already, at Camp Nou, the new Camp Nou that just got opened up, and the Montjuic Stadium. 5 wins on the bounce at home from Barcelona's perspective. In fact, their loss against Paris Saint-Germain 2-1 in the Champions League is the only home game they've lost in their last 10 attempts. So this is a team that is pretty secure at home. Atletico Madrid, on the other hand, 2 consecutive away wins, away at Getafe, away at Real Betis. So they come into this game without having lost in their last 2 visits to Barcelona. 4-4 and 2-1 it ended in their favor. So I think that it's going to be a difficult game. I think I'm calling a draw, actually. I'm calling a draw in this one. On Thursday in the Premier League, we'll see Manchester United host West Ham. Please give us a cause to laugh. That's all I'll say. Give us a reason to laugh. Let's go back to the weekend and see what happened in the Nigeria Premier Football League. The Premier or Professional. Whatever the P means, it doesn't really matter. Nigeria Portobello Football League. Barao FC 3-2 winners against Kwara United. Bayelsa United 1-1 against Katsina. Enyimba 2-1 winners against Rangers. Ikorodu City 1-0 winners against Abia Warriors. Ikorodu City are looking like they want to win the league this year, and I'm not going to put it past them. Kun Khalifat FC 2-0 winners against Plateau United. Shooting Stars 1-0 winners against El Kanemi. Warri Wolves 1-0 winners against Nasarawa United. The one weekend you decide to not stake money on the NPFL, see as home wins sleep everywhere. You try them next week. We will see on Coupon Busters. That's all I'm going to tell you. On Saturday in the NPFL, Bendel Insurance 3-0 winners at home to Wiki Tourists. Niger Tornadoes beating Remo Stars by a goal to 0. So as it stands, after 15 games in the Nigeria Premier Football League, Ikorodu City 27 points at top of the table, tied on points with Nasarawa United, but they have a better goal difference. 27 points as well. Nasarawa United are second. Niger Tornadoes 3 points behind the top 2. 23 points, 4 points behind the top 2. I beg your pardon. Third on the table. Rivers United are fourth, but they have 3 games in hand. So ideally, if Rivers United win their 3 games in hand, which they are not going to, but let's be in La La Land for a second and say if they win their 3 games in hand, that's 9 points added to their 23 points, which would take them to 32 points. So that would take them to the top of the table. So they have an advantage in that regard. Abia Warriors are 5th, Warri Wolves are 6th, Rangers International 7th, Katsina United 8th on the log, Enyimba are 9th, Shooting Stars are 10th, Bayelsa United 11th, Wiki Tourists 12th, Remo Stars, the champions, struggling at 13th on the log, Kwara United are 18th. Kwara United are 14th with 18 points. Academy 15th. Kun Khalifat holding their own in the Premier League, I have to say. 16th, just above the relegation slots. And occupying the 4 relegation places are Bendel Insurance, Barao FC, Plateau United, and Kano Pillars dead last. 9 points from 14 games. 7 goals scored this season. Ahmed Musa as both a player and chairman of the team. I don't know. He seems to have more success in organizing weddings than running a football team. But let me not get myself in trouble and move on from the NPFL. Let's wrap up with our Nigerian players football update. How did your favorite Super Eagles and Falcons do in their various clubs over the weekend? Just off the top of my head, I remember Samuel Chukwueze winning the Man of the Match award for Fulham in the Premier League. So some might say, where was that performance against Congo? Some are saying it's not me. But right now, 2 goals in 2 games for Ademola Lookman, who is catching fire at the right time. He finished his fine finish helped Atalanta earn a 2-0 home league victory against Fiorentina. I have to shout out Eagles Tracker, from whom I'm getting all of these updates. I love the job that they do. I do not have an official partnership with the Eagles Tracker. I just love the work that IoT and the rest of his team have been able to do in covering Nigerian footballers around the world over the last few years. Ademola Lookman with goals in back-to-back games for Atalanta, looking to enter form right at when the AFCON is right around the corner. And it's been confirmed Nigeria actually have a friendly just before the AFCON. I think it's on the 15th of December against Egypt, and the AFCON starts on the 20th. So that's the warm-up game that has been confirmed right now. Back to the updates. Rafael Onyedika was good in the heart of Club Brugge midfield, but couldn't prevent his side from falling to a home league defeat against Royal Antwerp in the Belgian Jubilee Pro League. 1-0 Club Brugge lost at home. Christos Uche came on as a late sub in Crystal Palace's home English Premier League defeat against Manchester United. Uche only played 12 minutes off the bench, but could not make an impact. Samuel Chukwueze assisted the opening goal, while Alex Iwobi and Calvin Bassey also featured in Fulham's tough away English Premier League victory over Tottenham. So I already mentioned Chukwueze was named the man of the match. A superb assist for Kenny Tete to open the scoring. He played 81 minutes. He started that game. Alex Iwobi played 87 minutes as well in that game, while Calvin Bassey played the entire 90. So the Nigerian tridents, the Nigerian trio in West London. Paul Onuachu's weekend was a fantastic one. He scored 2 goals for Trabzonspor to take his tally for the season to 11. The man is on fire in the Turkish Super League. In fact, that is second goal. Chef's kiss. Paul Onuachu continues taking his claim for a place in Nigeria's AFCON 2025 squad. We'll see about that. But he scored 2 goals for Trabzonspor in a 3-1 win over Konyaspor at the weekend. Maduka Okoye kept a clean sheet in goal for Udinese in a 2-0 victory over Parma. Kingsley Ezibwe came on as a late sub for Udinese as well in that game. Maduka Okoye entering form. Shemi Ajayi scored his first goal for Hull City over the weekend. As they came from a goal down to end an away league victory over Stoke City. So Hull City 2-1 winners against Stoke City. Shemi Ajayi scored, which leads me to ask, where was this against DR Congo? Mr. Shemi, you missed that penalty. I ain't forget at all. From the Russian league, yada, yada, yada. Good luck to those brothers, but I don't care. Victor Osimhen returned to Galatasaray training following his injury against DR Congo. So maybe Osimhen will be back available for the AFCON in December. AFCON is just a few days away, ladies and gentlemen. Are you excited? Are you in the Lord's army? I am. Am I excited? I don't know. I don't know if I'm excited. But we'll be here to cover it on the T&T Talk Sports Show, because that's what we do. That's what I do. My name is Tunde Young. Thank you very much for rocking with me. It's been another hour of the best sports show in the land. My producer is telling you to subscribe, like, share, comment. You might win a jersey out of it. And even if you don't, you are still enjoying the best sports show in the land. And like I always say, supporting me right now is like buying Bitcoin in 2009. So you are on the right track. Don't worry, to pay off very soon. But I very much appreciate all your support. Thank you very much for engaging with all our content, all our live content. We had a live watch along for the Champions League game against Chelsea versus Barcelona, where you got to see me as a winner and see Tosin as a bitch. Biatch. They lost 3-0. Tosin was crashing out heavy on camera. Tune in to T&T Talk Sports Show for a lot more content like that. So we'll be getting a lot more live content, a lot more live coverage, and a lot more packaged content apart from the podcast. That's what we do over here. I very much appreciate your support again. Thank you very much. And congratulations to, I need to find your name again, but to our giveaway winner. Thank you for your support. Very much appreciated. Congratulations to Adebola Balogun for winning the giveaway. So remember to text DM on Instagram, the official T&T Talk Sports Instagram, DM with screenshots of you subscribe to the channel, of you following on Instagram, of you following on TikTok, and say the jersey you want, and we'll work out the arrangement on how you can get your jersey. Thank you for winning our giveaway. Thank you for participating in our giveaway. And to the rest of you that did not win, think about it. There are no losers over here. There are no losers in the kingdom of God. We are all winners at the end of the day. You want my attention, and that's all that matters. I saw your comments. Jimmy, I saw your comments. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I will see you next week, and by then, we'll be able to properly break down the AFCON groups. We'll be doing a series of, over the next few episodes, we'll be doing a series of touching base on in-depth analysis of every single Africa Cup of Nations 2025 group. Because by then, we'll be just a week or so away from the showpiece in Morocco. Until then, give glory to the higher power for putting breath in our lungs. See ya! Bye!